Our bodies are very efficient at maintaining the resources we use and getting rid of what we don't. If we stop training, we get weaker. Similarly, if we don't regularly use the full range of motion of our joints, we quickly lose our ability to do so. Most people in this day and age, they haven't trained their full range of motion in their joints for years. As a result, the shoulders, hips, back, and ankles just don't move like they may have used to. A good example here is how certain cultures, such as Southeast Asians, use the deep squat every day and can assume that position quite easily. And although differences in bone structure do play a role, you can contrast that to Western cultures where very few are able to perform a comfortable deep squat. For example, try sitting down and rising from the floor without using your hands or knees for support. How easy or difficult was that for you to do? This loss of mobility can not only create feelings of tightness, limit your ability to perform certain lifts in the gym, and prevent you from being able to activate certain muscles very well, but it may even extend far beyond this. So, how do we improve this? Well, today I'll show you how by focusing on the right areas and the right exercises, you can significantly improve your mobility in just 5 minutes. So before we dive into the exercises, we first need to understand what will make this 5-minute routine so effective. But because this routine is only 5 minutes, we need to make sure it focuses on areas that need the most help. And based on the sedentary day-to-day life of most individuals, as well as the results of a recent poll that I ran on my Instagram, we picked 3 key areas: the hips, the upper back, and an area where you probably don't even realize needs help, the ankles. Even though you may think that your problem areas are elsewhere, like your shoulders and your hamstrings, because these 3 areas are such important links in the human kinetic chain, improvements here tend to improve things everywhere else. To ensure that we mobilize these areas properly though, pay very close attention to the form and modifications I'm about to show you for each exercise, as the details really do matter. The first move will be used to loosen up the spine and our back muscles in preparation for our next exercises. To perform it, get onto all fours with your knees under your hips and hands under your shoulders. From here, in a gentle motion, round your back up towards the ceiling as if someone was pulling your mid back up with a rope. As you do this, take a deep breath in while tucking your head down. Then exhale as you reverse this motion by now curving your back the opposite way while lifting your head up. Based on the lab research of back pain expert Dr. Stuart McGill, he found that just 7 to 8 cycles of this are what's needed for the most benefit. When done slowly and controlled, this should take you about a minute to do. And for your reference, here is a snapshot of each part of the stretch so that you can quickly screenshot it for reference. I'll do the same with the next 4 exercises as well. The next exercise, called the world's greatest stretch, will be the most effective way to hit all the key problem areas at once. This stretch has 3 parts to it: a lunge, a drop, and a reach. The first part is going to focus on your hips and ankles. Get into a plank position with your hands under your shoulders and your feet together. From here, lunge forward by bringing your right foot up as high as you can, ideally next to where your right hand is. You should feel a deep stretch in your groin muscles of your front leg and the hip flexors of your back leg as you do this. Next, take your right hand, place it on your knee, and push your knee out and back and then forward and back a few times just to loosen up the hips and the ankles a little bit more. Then, to deepen the stretch even more, in the second part of the stretch, you'll try to drop your right elbow as far towards the ground as you can while rotating your upper body down towards the ground. As you do this, try to keep your right knee pushed out rather than letting it collapse inwards. And then for part 3, to really open up the mid and upper back, rotate your entire upper body up and to the right and reach your right arm as far overhead as you can. If you can, try to keep your back leg as straight as possible as you do so. Then you're going to reach back down and repeat this for 5 reps or about 30 seconds in total before switching to the next side. Now this is quite a difficult stretch. To make it easier, you can keep your leg bent or keep your knee on the ground and work towards straightening it more and more over time. In the beginning, also don't be discouraged if you can only reach so far here and there. Just stay consistent with it and it's going to improve very quickly. And finally, here is a snapshot of each part of the stretch for your reference. Next, we're going to do what I'll just call the Asian squat, but with a few modifications to really open up the hips and ankles. First, you're going to want to get a rolled up towel and place your heels on it. From here, using a squat stance, which is typically just outside shoulder width, squat down into however deep is comfortable for you. Keep your chest up and try to keep your heels down. From here, place your arms on the inside of your legs and use your elbows to push your knees out. You're going to sit in this position for 30 seconds. And as you do so, you should feel a deep stretch in your groin and in the muscles around your ankles. As you do this though, you want to avoid collapsing your knees in and avoid pointing your feet too far outwards, as this takes the stretch away from the ankles. Instead, try to keep your feet angled out at a max of about 30 to 45 degrees and keep each knee in line with the outside of your toes. And finally, here is a snapshot of each part of the stretch for you to screenshot. Alright, so next we're going to really focus on mobilizing the upper back with rotation and opening up the chest. Get into a half kneeling position with your right leg bent as close to the wall as you can get it, and your left leg planted forward in a lunge position. You're going to place both arms directly in front of you with your right arm making contact with the wall. From here, push your right hand into the wall as you rotate your upper body to the left, trying to reach your left arm to the other side of the wall. As you do this, you want to avoid rotating your hips and try to rotate only the upper body. Return back to the starting position and then repeat this for 30 seconds before switching sides.